Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Linda of Stylish Mo-lyn. I want to thank you all for always tuning in into this channel. On this channel, I share videos about sewing, pattern drafting, and everything fashion. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to couple and stitch this outfit. If this is what you're interested in, you might want to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Let's begin. So as you can see on my work table, I've gone ahead to add sewing allowances to all my patterns. I added half of an inch in between the patterns, okay? This is for the joining allowance, and then at the lower part, I added 1 inch. So at the upper part, as you can see, I added about 2 inches so that I can be able to extend it to the upper chest line, just like you see in the picture. So this depends on you. You can add 1.5 inch to 2 inches. Placing my tape rule this way, you can notice that I have 5 inches instead of 7 inches for the neck depth. So guys, I went ahead to cut out the lining piece for each of the patterns. I have 2 pieces of lining each for the other patterns and 1 piece for the center piece. Now I went ahead to line it up with my stay and also my tissue gum, as you can see. So next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the patterns, and then I'll repeat the same thing for the lining piece as well. So guys, now I've added my tissue gum to all the patterns and all the lining piece, as you can see. Now I'm just going to arrange them in the manner that I want them to be stitched on the sewing machine, and then I'll head over to draft the trouser pattern. So this is the fabric I'll be using to draft the trouser pattern and also create the bias strip for our top. Now folding my fabric into 2, I went ahead to mark about 1 inch away from the upper part like this, and then at this side I gave about 2 inches. This is the line where I want to start drafting my trouser pattern from. So I just went ahead to place my tape like this to know the amount of fabric that I'm supposed to fold. Go ahead and fold your fabric this way to know the amount of fabric you're supposed to fold that will contain your thigh and your hip as well. Place your tape rule from that line and take away the band measurement of about 2 inches, and then measure your hip line. Okay, for my hip line I'm making use of 9 inches, and still from that starting line I'll be marking my crotch depth. So for my crotch depth, I'm making use of 11.5. Still from that starting line, I'll be taking my knee measurement of about 25 inches. And also I'll be extending that downwards to take the length of the trouser of about 43 inches, including the hemming allowance of 2.5 inches. Now I'm going to use my ruler and mark out all the points I've made. Judging by the position of the lines, you can see that this is the waistline, this is the hip line, then I have my crotch depth, followed by the knee line, and then the length of the trouser. So on the waistline, I'm going to come in width by 1 inch. I'm going to be marking the measurement of the waist from there. So my round waist divided by 4 is 8.5. I just went ahead to mark the points. So I'll go ahead now and mark 1/2 inch for the joining allowance, and then extend it all the way down to the crotch depth. Okay, so this is going to form our depth for the crotch. On that crotch line, go ahead and impute the half of your thigh measurement, okay, the round thigh measurement. For mine it's 28 inches. I'm going to be imputing 14 inches. So I'll go ahead now and mark a part of it outside the line, and then from that line I'll be measuring 14 inches for my thigh measurement. Okay, so after marking the line, I'll just go ahead and connect it like this with my curved ruler. So I'll go ahead and place my curved ruler this way. I'm going to connect a line from the waistline straight down to the crotch line. Next, I'm going to place my tape rule this way. I'm going to find the midpoint for that area, and then I'm going to be marking it just like you see me doing. That's going to create a center line for our trouser. This line allows us to have a straight pattern for our trouser. So with this line, you can be able to place equal measurement on both sides for the knee measurement and the ankle measurement. So on the knee line, I'll be marking equal measurements for what we got for our knee. But because this is a palazzo and a straight cut, I'll be marking more than that. So I went ahead to mark 5 inches on both sides of the line, and then I duplicated the same thing on the ankle line. So I'll just go ahead now and use my ruler to connect the lines respectively. So guys, I went ahead to add 1/2 inch all the way around the pattern. This is to enable us to have joining allowance when we are stitching them together, so we won't fall short of measurement. At the waistline, I'll be coming inwards like this by 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to connect the line in a curvy manner like this, and then cut everything out. After cutting out the patterns, I placed my pattern on a fresh pattern to cut out the back. So I'll go ahead now and mark 2 inches like this, and then at the upper part like this at the waist, I'll be going upwards by 1.5 inch, and from there I'll be coming outwards by 1.5 inch as well for the zipper, and then I'm going to connect it this way into the crotch. So after I was done, I went ahead to connect this part like this into the waistline. As you can see, I gave 1 inch outwards for the dart intake. I'm not having any dart for the front, but for the back, I will be imputing that of 1 inches. That is what amounted to that 1 inch around that part. So I'll go ahead now and just extra 2 inches at the inner seam like this and connect it with my curved ruler before cutting it out. So guys, this is what I had after I was done cutting. I'll go ahead now and notch the zipper area just like this to know where my zipper starts from, and then the remaining part is my waistline measurement plus that allowance. So I'm going to mark the midpoint and also notch that area for the dart intake. So that is going to be it for the back. Now I'm going to be cutting out the pocket for this. I used to do this a lot on this channel. If you want to see how I used to cut the pocket, I have a tutorial for that. I'll be linking that on the screen and the description box as well, so that I won't have to waste much time describing how to cut a pocket on this tutorial. After cutting out the pocket facing and the pocket itself together, this is what I had. The next thing I'm going to do is to stitch the pocket to the trouser pattern. So I'll go ahead and stitch the 2 front pieces together by 1/2 inch like this, and also I'll repeat the same thing for the back, just that I'll be starting from here because there's already a zipper. So guys, after stitching the front and the back piece together, this is what I have. This is how beautiful it came out looking like, as you can see. I've already stitched the side seam and the inner seam. Now I'm going to hem the lower part and attach the belt. So heading to the corset part, I'm going to join all the pieces together by 1/2 inch, starting from the lower part, just the way we normally stitch our corset. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching the front part. I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the back. I'll also notch the underbust area to give it flexibility. So I'll also repeat the same thing for the lining part, and now we are done with it. So this is our trouser pattern. We are done with it. I'm going to be attaching my band later on. This is the lining of the front piece, and this is the front piece itself. So I also went ahead to mark a straight line to guide me on my boning casing. I also cut out long strips of fabric for the channels I want to create. So the measurement I have there is 2 inches, and that'll be more than enough for the casing I want to create. So I'll set this aside, and then this is the back. I've joined the lining for the back piece and also for the main fabric. Now I'm going to also stitch my boning casing on the back of this top. So guys, when stitching the casing, I went ahead to cut out the excesses so I won't have anyone picking out underneath it. So I'll just fold the remaining part over and top stitch on it. And I'll also do this for the rest of the channel I'm going to create. So guys, this is what I had after I was done The next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and press it out very well on the ironing board, and also I'll go ahead and attach the lining and stitch it at the top like this by half of an inch. I've also done the same thing on the lining piece. I'm going to be stitching both the lining piece and the main fabric together, but for the meantime I'm going to cut out the excesses I have around the channels before stitching. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching the neckline. I also went ahead to top stitch on it and close the sides for the back. Now this is the boning I want to make use of. I went ahead to iron it out before inserting. I'll be inserting my boning on the front piece and the back piece respectively. So the boning is shorter than the length of the top by 1 inch. This is to enable me to close it after I am done inserting them, and also eliminate discomfort. After I was done inserting, I'll go ahead and open it up like this and place them right sides facing each other. Then I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch them together by a ½ inch. So I'll go ahead and stitch them just like this, like you see me pointing. I'll also do the same thing for the back piece as well. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching the upper part and the lower part. I also went ahead to join the two sides together, okay, and also attached my zipper. The next thing I'm going to do now is to work on the armhole and the sleeve. So I'll go ahead now and cut out the sleeve pattern for it. So I'm just going to take the measurement of this side, this part, and then I'll check what I have there. I have 6 inches. I'm going to use that to cut out our off shoulder sleeve. Okay, whatever I have there is what I'll be using to impute on the sleeve. So I folded my fabric into 2, and what I have there is 14 inches for the width. That will be serving as the width for my sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and pin it the way you see me doing, and then I'll cut it out. I also went ahead to fold my fabric into 2 to cut out 2 sleeves. So for the total length of this fabric is 46 inches. Then after folding it into 2, I have a total of 23 inches, which will be the length of my sleeve. So I'll just place my off shoulder top on the sleeve like this to get the armhole part. Because this is the gathered sleeve, I'll be aligning it at the edge like this, which is on the open side. Now I'm going to use my chalk to trace out the line for the armhole. So the first thing I'll do is to measure 2 inches away from the top like this. This is for the fold of the elastic band. You know that part where we pass our elastic band in order to gather our sleeve. So now I'm just going to trace out the armhole part of this top and also extend it upwards. This is going to allow us to have equal measurement when stitching them together. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. After I was done cutting, the next thing I did was to separate it on the upper part so that I will have 2 sleeves. So I'll have my elastic band at the upper part and the lower part of the sleeve. So this is what it looks like when I open it up. I'm going to make a double fold this way for our elastic, and I'll also go ahead and do the same thing at the lower part. I'll do that off camera and get back to you. Then I'll attach my sleeves to the corset, and that will be all with the tutorial. So guys, this is how my outfit came out looking like. As you can see, it's very beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, kindly hit the subscribe button, comment and share. Tell me what you think in the comment box. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.